All right, good morning, sports fans. Ryan here, DFS 5-pack. So a couple of quick announcements for NBA today. Because NBA and baseball are coinciding at the same time, there may be no NBA write-up. We may not have time to get to it, so this video should provide all the information. It's free to the public today. If things go a little bit quicker than they are this morning, we will try to get the NBA write-up out. Otherwise, all the picks are free to everybody on the video for the day, and we'll get back at you guys tomorrow. Sometimes it's just tough with two sports running coincide. All right, guys. Sorry, I'll try to pep up the energy a little bit. Still a little early. Been doing some work at night and some other things. So it's been a long weekend, to say the least. If you can click the thumbs up video, that would be much appreciated. And we will try to do what we can to win some nice NBA money today. We got Atlanta and Philly kicking it off for us. Early game today. We have not seen this one, right? This is the beginning of the series, so a lot is up in the air still to see if they make any coaching adjustments. But starting on the Sixers, I'm just going to assume Embiid isn't playing. If Embiid's in, obviously that changes everything. My best guess is I don't think he'll play today. I really, really don't expect him to play in game one. Suppose we can double check to see if they made any recent announcements, but I wouldn't expect to hear anything anytime soon. Well, soon, I guess, is up for interpretation. So looking at his replacement, Dwight Howard, came off the bench the other day. He was awesome against Washington. However, he still only played 16 minutes. I probably won't use him. If he's starting all of a sudden, then he's the lock of the century. But if he's only going to come off the bench and not play extra minutes and they're going to play small, then I won't be using him. You can look for the matchup here to potentially change, though. And what I mean by that is with Capella and John Collins and more size, I don't think it's impossible they roll with Embiid in the starting lineup today or play him more minutes, but I'll use Boban ahead of him. And for that case, I just don't think he's any kind of priority. As far as the rest of the 76ers go, my favorite play is going to be Tobias Harris. His scoring is just very, very much needed in this situation that there is no Joel Embiid. I assume Embiid's out today. Harris has played awesome throughout the entire playoffs. Clearly, he's battle-tested and ready for this one against the Hawks. So he's a top-end play for me today. He is one of my bigger money players that's going to make my lineup, so give me some Tobias Harris. We get down to a couple other guys right here. So the other day, we saw Matisse Thybulle enter the starting lineup. Did not play significant minutes. His minutes stayed the same. So I don't think it's the craziest play that he gives you some version of value on 3,300, but didn't really change his role much. For me, I'd rather, if I could, spend the extra money on Danny Green. Again, shot 2 of 7 the other day. Didn't do much of anything. He is not a top-end priority. But on a 2-game slate in the playoffs, when you don't have a lot of paydown options, he is a look, and he is somebody that is on the list of players that you could use today. Seth Curry, monster game the other day, all the way up to 5,100. I'm probably not going to get here. And then we get down to a couple of these guards. So Tyrese Maxey played really well the last 2 games. And I would assume that based on his play, that they will give him some run today. I don't feel very safe about this one. I think there's a good opportunity that the bus game happens soon. But as the way this slate sets up, and now that the Mavs and Dallas players are priced up, I do think Tyrese Maxey is one of your best paydown options. But I say that knowing darn well that plug your nose if you play him. There is no guarantee that the success he had against the Washington Wizards translates to the Atlanta Hawks. But given our options, you're not getting a lot of other guys below 4K that you can roster with any version of confidence. So I think he's the best of the group. And then we get over to Ben Simmons. I mean, let's just assume that as long as Joel Embiid is out, people are going to use Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. Harris is my top priority, but Ben Simmons is very much a look as well. The matchup with Atlanta isn't as good. Since they got Nate as their coach, they've been a much better team all over the place, but specifically on the defensive end of things. I think there's an opportunity for Ben Simmons not to be great today. Harris is the priority for me out of these two, but I'm pretty sure if I set one lineup, I'd probably use both of them. I haven't played around with roster construction a ton, but Harris is the priority over Ben Simmons for me. Moving over to Atlanta, not much I plan on using from Atlanta. Could Trey be great today? Hell yeah, he can. But Luka, Kawhi, Harris, Simmons, probably all more likely to make my final lineup than Trey Young. If you think he is awesome, I get it. I was thoroughly impressed by him by round one. Probably not where I'm going to end up, but I get it if you feel different than me. I don't think you're. This is one of those picks, like, I don't think you're dumb for thinking that. I just don't feel the same way, and I can understand your points for feeling that way. All right. I think Bogdanovich has been the most consistent player throughout the playoffs. Not a priority or anything like that, but if he shoots the three ball well, there's a little room for growth. Not a priority or anything like that, though. Herder. So I think he's a look. Again, we don't have a lot of options. Put it this way. I trust his floor over Maxi's. He's got a better role with this team. So I think he'll be lower owned than Tyrese Maxey. I'm just guessing on that one. And probably not for sure on that one. I think he's okay look. And he might be a good look if DeAndre Hunter, who is questionable, is out. So if Hunter is out, then Herder and Gallo are priorities for me. Because Hunter started to take a bigger role with the team, having played 28 plus minutes in the last 4 games against New York. A lot of those minutes get dispersed to Kevin Herter and Danilo Gallinari if Hunter is out. So if Hunter is out, those two guys are my huckleberries, and they're going to be in my lineup as well. If Embiid's out and they don't start Dwight Howard, I think Capella enters sleeper mode. Because of his price tag, I don't think a lot of people are going to get here. This is a guy that didn't really give off much value in the early series at all, so his game log is going to be tough for people to roster right here. However, if there's no opposing center for him to really bang with, he could absolutely dominate Philadelphia early. So I think he's an interesting sleeper. He wouldn't make like a main lineup for me type of situation, but I could see why it might be a potential place to go. So let's move over to the Dallas versus the Clippers game. The guys from Dallas I'm going to play Boban. I think we just plan on him playing his 15 to 20 minutes and giving you 15 to 25 DK points. He's your best pay down option at this point. If all of a sudden he's not starting, it's going to be tough because it's the second game, but abandon ship really, really quickly. And then the other guy's Luka. Luka has been nothing short of sensational in this series. The best argument for not playing him, quite simply, is the fact that he's expensive. We've seen a bunch of good games in this series recently, mostly good games in this series. So I won't go as far as to call Luka a top-end priority, but he's been fantastic in this series. We're talking 61 to 77 points in every game except for the one where they got rolled and he clearly was hurt. So, yeah, I want him on my roster today. My best argument for not using him is if the roster construction is significantly better without him. He becomes a harder roster if we don't have Boban at our disposal because there is not a lot of pay-down options on this one. But in a perfect world, I got Luka on my squad right here. Other than that, not playing anybody from the Dallas Mavericks. So then we move over to the Clippers, and we've seen their prices rise. Paul George, 9K. He's a look. I don't trust Paul George in the Game 7 situation. I'm here to be proven wrong today. The minutes he played last game were sensational. And for the most part, he's played really well in this series. So I will stop ragging on the guy for a little while. It's Game 7. It's not my spot for Paul George. If I'm wrong on this one, hey, I've been wrong a bunch of times before. I'll be wrong again. He's also not substantially less money than Kawhi Leonard. And I just trust Kawhi Leonard significantly more in this situation. Kawhi's got one bad game. Other than that, he's been awesome in this series as well. The problem is I don't think you can play Luka and Kawhi together. Unless you are – the other argument is if the first game turns into a blowout, whichever direction you think it is going to be, then playing Kawhi and Luka together makes a lot of sense if you want to game stack the second game in a GPP perspective. So Rondo is another cheap guy, but, man, he just doesn't seem to be gaining any traction or any version of playoff Rondo right now. So they won last game with him only playing 10 minutes. I don't trust him to be in there at all. I really like how Reggie Jackson is playing, but to Doesn't seem right to spend 5,400 on him. All that being said, the guy's got 25 plus in 5 straight games now. So yeah, if you're using the mid-tier build, I trust the minutes to be there. I still don't trust the production, but that could be more on me than anything else. Uh, Terrence Mann's another really cheap guy who's been playing minutes. There's like virtually no upside right here or anything like that. So that's the tough part. Batum, again, not really a guy I want on my roster, but he's 4,800 playing big minutes. He didn't hit any of his threes last game if you're looking for a room for him to grow. So I do think Batum is a look. I don't want to roster Nick Batum, but where are your other options on this slate? He becomes out of play for me if DeAndre Hunter is out and I can utilize Herter and Gallo in that situation. And to be clear, Gallo isn't play no matter what. I just think he's a substantially better play if they get rid of DeAndre Hunter and minutes are even more solidified and everything like that. Marcus Morris is another look. I think I trust Batum a little bit more right now. Also playing monster minutes. Probably not going to get a ton of ownership at this price tag, but he is out there for you at your disposal. So I'm starting with Tobias Harris and Boban Marjanovic. And then you have to ask yourself the question, Ben Simmons, Luka, Kawhi. Is there any way, let's go Simmons and Luka? Could this even be done? Probably not. It's going to be tough. I mean, let's just play around with this for a second. We can go with Maxey. Now, it can definitely be done if Hunter's out. And actually, you want to know what? You can play these guys without him. So take that for what it's worth. And I guess even here, if you go up from Herter to Reggie Jackson, where does that leave us? 5K? Yeah, something like that. Simmons, Luka, Tobias Harris. And if you feel differently, you can probably get Kawhi into this lineup. So let's just try that real quick, and then I'll let you guys get on with your morning. If we put Luka at the point, Kawhi, we already got Maxey in there, we got Harris, we got Boban. Is there a way to make this into a lineup? Maybe. I don't really want to roster any of these other guys down here. You start looking at guys like Brunson. Blech. George Hill. Yeah. I could see a situation where George Hill is better than Maxey today. So I probably wouldn't play them together, but the idea of playing him instead, I think is an interesting one. I think that is something that could be a look right there. So yeah, you can get Luka, Kawhi, and Harris together. So as far as the superstars go in this game, and I'm going to be done with y'all for the day. Wish you guys the best of luck. Stars being 8K plus. I got Harris as my top guy. And the price with Ben Simmons is just, it's hard to get past him. And I am assuming Joel Embiid's out. If Embiid plays, then Simmons is far from a priority for me. I still like Harris, but then I really like Kawhi and Luka because I expect this to be a great Game 7. So starting with Kawhi and Luka makes a lot of sense too. So that's it for the plays, guys. Good luck today. Go win yourself some money, and I will see you tomorrow.